welcome back to another episode of the Recession Resistant Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Brandon Cobb, co-founder of HBG Capital. And in today's episode, I want to talk about exactly what's going on in the current market today as of October 2022. I want to talk about what's happening with construction costs, how to measure a construction team's performance. If you're in the construction industry right now, or you work with anybody in the construction industry, you're not going to want to admit this. We're at a pretty pivotal moment right now where you now have interest rates that are capping and compressing the sales prices of a lot of real estate assets. And you've had this historic run up in construction costs. What that means is margins have been getting squeezed. And I want to show you exactly what we're doing to mitigate this issue. There's also a huge opportunity that I think that is going to unfold from all of this. And I'll explain exactly what that is. But first, if you get value from these, please leave a review, like, subscribe to these. And if you've been interested in learning more about having your money work for you in recession-resistant real estate, head on over to our website, hbgcapital.net, and book a call with us direct on the counter. We look forward to getting to know you. All right, so let's jump in today. Crazy environment that we're in, right? There's a transitionary period right now, especially in single family, and we'll talk about multifamily a little bit. All these people that got stuck in these bridge loans and these adjustable rate loans are having to suspend distributions to investors. It's a big mess. I'm hearing a lot of horror stories right now. There's definitely some sentiment in the market that is negative. You're kind of feeling the beginning stages of panic. And as we know, when people start to panic, that's when the best deals happen for those that are positioned for it. So very interesting. We've got interest rates now compressing the prices of homes. We've got historically high construction costs. I actually got off a call last week with about 7 other builders all across the country doing some pretty significant volume. And all of them have been affected by construction costs to the point where all of them have pretty much scaled down what they're doing. Some of them aren't building at all. Zero kaput. They're not doing anything. So that's a ton of supply that's now not going to hit the market. And we already have a severely underserved demand, even with the interest rates. We'll jump into the fundamentals there. Now, another interesting feature of this environment is all the people who bought homes at 2, 3, 4% interest rates are not going to put their home on the market. Nobody wants to put their home on the market when they have to go get a 7% interest rate now. So I think you're going to see a huge chunk of inventory from this point onward that would have hit the market that is not going to hit the market. That means that the supply is going to go down, and you're going to see rents probably go up as interest rates continue to rise. People, millennials who make up 73 million of the current demographic population. The largest demographic of our population is in their 30s and at prime home buying age. This is a demand feature. This is different from 2008 and 2009 where you had all this artificial demand because of these ninja loans. No income, no job, no assets, no problem. We'll give you a loan. Everyone could get a loan. Everybody wanted to buy stuff with it. You don't have the same lending standards. You actually have real demand. You have a huge portion of the population that now needs somewhere to live. They're graduating up from their current living standards. They're having kids. They're starting a family. They don't want to live in apartments. This is creating an unprecedented opportunity. I think for those that are able to weather the storm and really get their construction costs down or their overhead costs in general, I think there's going to be a huge opportunity when we come out of this to grab market share and make a lot of money. So if you're following along on my screen, I'm going to jump through the key performance indicator cards that I have for a couple of my team members. And if you're not, that's okay. I'll walk you through it. But I want to show exactly what we're doing during this current economic environment to control what we can control. And the biggest issue that we see have been the rising construction costs in the supply chain, time and money. Supply chain is increasing the amount of time your stuff sits on the market, which raises costs, and rising costs mean less margin now that you don't have the same pressures because of interest rates pushing up the prices of homes. We're at a transitionary period right now where there's sort of a pause. Right now, you've got buyers who are shopping for $1 million home. They're You're shopping for a $700,000 home. If you're shopping for a $700,000 home, you're now shopping for a $500,000 home. If you're shopping for a $500,000 home, you're probably shopping for a $400,000 home now. So there's a reality that has to set in with the new environment, and that takes a minute for the psychology of buyers to adjust and accept what the new reality is. We haven't seen it yet. But the fundamentals still look good. We're still seeing 45 days or less on market. The supply is still less than 6 months. There's just a pause going on right now. And so for those who are positioned for it coming out of this, I think there's going to be a great opportunity, because with the supply being capped and the demand still staying strong, it's going to be a great situation for those who are positioned for it. So what are we doing right now? Well, there's two big problems: the supply chain and your construction costs. And we felt it so much that we just got tired of it, and we started trying to create our own supply chain or circumvent it altogether. And we do this. There's two apps that we use, and we call it around. One of them is called Import Key, and the other one is called Panjiva. And this allows us to basically spy and see what who the big boys are buying from. Because if we're building for $140 a foot, I want to figure out, how do I build for $100 a foot? So our new goal is to try to reduce our construction costs and literally save 30, 40% on our construction costs by buying overseas. And we've actually been able to do that. So before I jump into some of these key performance indicators with the team, I just want to go over exactly what kind of price adjustments we're seeing right now from vendors outside of the United States. So currently, following along, I'll walk you through it. We were paying roughly $5,100 for a 2-car garage door. We just got several shipping containers from Turkey. Same product, same quality, for $1,130. That's almost an 80% savings. We were buying single car garage doors for $4,500. In Turkey, they're $600. Windows, we're paying $350 for windows. We're now paying $130 a windows. And again, we've already gone over and vetted the quality of these materials. We've vetted the manufacturers. We've seen the samples, and we've received these products, and we've actually vetted it. That was our number one concern, was the quality, and the quality is there. And actually, it's even better quality, especially with the garage doors, which is just mind blowing. Quartz countertops. This is going to blow you away. We were currently paying $4,500 for quartz countertops. I just got a picture from the team the other day of this truck, and it's nothing but slabs of quartz countertops. $670 per countertop. We were paying $2,000 for shower glass doors for the bathrooms. We're now paying $380. Our interior doors, we're paying about $145 per interior door. We're now paying $95. Trim, $2 a foot, down to 50 cents. Tile was roughly $3.50 a foot. We're now paying $120 a foot. We literally just got like 60,000 square feet of tile in. I've never seen so much tile in my entire life. Cabinets. Oh my God, we were paying $400 per each individual cabinet. We've got that down to $100. And this is just what we've received so far. What I'm excited about is all the other stuff that we're currently on a trip right now to go and secure. We're going to Mexico to look at piping, wires, cable, conduit, exterior doors, hardware, lighting, faucets, everything. We're trying to get rid of this supply chain issue by buying these things in bulk, saving money, and storing it at our warehouse. If you're able to circumvent the current problems and control your costs, this is going to be huge for getting your overhead down and your risk through weathering this, next recession that we're going to go through. So I just want to give you an idea of that. A lot of people don't see what we see, which is it is possible to get your construction costs down in a volatile rising construction cost market. You have to be able to get creative. You have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to do the things that other people are not going to do. So let's talk about measuring team performance now. That's another big factor that you can control in this environment, and you need to have a grip on what everybody's doing. So we use a model called EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System, and part of that system are quarterly rocks and key performance indicators that we measure on a weekly basis. The quarterly rocks, think about them as stair steps, where each quarter is a step to where we need to go. So we take the long-term vision, we reverse engineer it down into quarterly steps, and then we set quarterly rocks or quarterly goals that allow us to stair step towards our long-term vision. And for this particular position, we have the construction coordinator and we have a project manager. We'll go over the project manager here in a minute. But for the construction coordinator, we set a goal of reducing the material cost. It's actually the entire build cost per square foot by 10%. And I'm happy to say he's going to kill it. It's probably going to be more like 30% after we went over and actually got the pricing for all this stuff. So he's going to be getting bonuses there. We set a goal to do monthly cost audits now. I don't know if you remember the days where you could do a cost audit once a quarter, once every 6 months. Those are out the door. So over here on the sheet, I've got exactly how much we're paying for labor and materials for each individual trade line item for the entire build. And month to month, we want to see how those costs are adjusting. Another system or rock that he has is to approve invoices. So, right now we're transitioning over to a new piece of software, and we're trying to integrate a new full-time bookkeeper in order to help control a lot of the invoice system. Because if you don't have squeaky clean books, your CFO can't make good judgment calls, which means you're flying blind. Not having clean books and good business styles is much like flying an airplane without any of the dials at night. You have no clue where you're going. Very important to have a good process set up. One of his other rocks is securing and growing lines of credit. So these become especially important when you need them. We had these goals, $250,000 on a 3 or 4 credit cards, $250,000 for lumber, $250,000 for windows, cabinets, stone, concrete. And we want to secure these because it limits the amount of capital we need to raise for deals. And then if we need to tap into that line of credit to really get a project going or run into unexpected overages, they come in handy. So as you can see, week by week, he has to report on what the current line of credit is. And this allows us to track progress from quarter to quarter on exactly what's available to us. And it allows us to reward people who are doing really well. Now, if I pivot over to one of our project managers' scorecards and I go to Q4, you can see up here that he has weekly key performance indicators. Those key performance indicators are a 7-day punch out list. So as soon as the agent walks one of our new builds and creates the punch out list, they have approximately 7 days to finish that punch out list. They have to have their entire week built out so we know what's going on. And whenever there is a buyer inspection report that comes back that we sign saying we will do these repairs, they have 10 days to complete that report. And all these KPIs evolved from past needs. So if you're not sure about what weekly KPIs you should be using with your team, look and feel for where the problems are and create KPIs around those problems. Our project managers' Q4 rocks are collecting data from all the failed inspections. So we wanted to create and foster this environment where it builds on itself and we constantly get better. If we're consistently failing for the same things in our builds that's causing delays and pushing our timeline back, we're not getting better. But if we're able to capture that data each time it happens, create a list that all the PMs can then take and audit before they schedule an inspection, you're going to have a lot less delays and you're going to make the inspectors a whole lot happier. Really excited for this rock. This is good stuff. And we're already seeing a cut down on delays from failed inspections. Find 3 siding, framing, and HVAC contractors. I love the concept of driving for contractors. We push our project managers each quarter to constantly keep the top of the funnel filled with subcontractors. You never know when someone's going to go up on price, or they're going to bite off more business than they can chew and no longer serve you, or they just decide they don't want to do this anymore and stop answering the phone. You want to make sure you've got a Rolodex of contractors ready to fill their spot. So this is one of the things that we have our project managers really focus on. And then last but not least, we have a monthly team outing completed. Actually, that's from a different quarter. Let me go to the Q4 right here. Perfect. Here we go. And last but not least, we have the daily log and property report. So this one is very important because we want the status on each project. So we build it into their key performance indicators that these project managers have to update the status of each project every single day in the software we use. And we use Buildertrend basically. This gives us an idea on the we can see a history of daily reports and know exactly what's going on for each project. Very important to do this. Some other things that we're focused on are calculating the labor hours per trade. So I was really excited about this rock because it allows us to use a very granular method to get control of our builds. And what we're basically doing is going in and auditing each trade. So for example, if Mike's out there and he's looking at the framing crew and it takes 10 guys working 8 hours a day, 6 days to build the home, that's 10 guys times 8 hours. That's 80 hours times 6 days. I think that's 480 man hours that it takes to frame a home. Now that we know that it takes 480 man hours to frame a home, Mike on the next build can influence the time frame of the framing by how many guys are being brought, or he can foresee a future delay. If he knows that we have 6 days to frame this home and there's only 4 guys out there framing, and they're working 10 hours a day, he knows, oh man, you need to get 10 more guys out here over the next 4 days if we're going to do it in 6 days. So it allows him to have a more granular grip on the project. So this is huge. All of our project managers have to track dead days each week on the project. And the reason we do this is at the end of the build, when it's time to do performance evaluations and either bonus these guys for hitting whatever tier timeline that they hit, they can look back if they don't get their bonus and be like, oh my gosh, I had 90 days of dead days, nobody working on those dead days. Holy schmoly. And it allows for improvement. They can see that, hey, it is possible to hit these bonuses, and just allows us to improve as a company as well. We also track the number of days ahead and behind schedule each week. So every single week, they have to fill out exactly how many days they're ahead and how many days that they're behind. And if there's a change, they have to put a comment in the cell and explain exactly why it went ahead schedule or behind schedule. And if it went behind schedule, there needs to be a game plan for catching it back up. You can get as creative as you want with these KPI sheets, but get out there, focus on what you can control. Get your overhead down, control your costs, write it out, and there's going to be an amazing opportunity at the end of this. I promise you. Till next time.